Hello everybody and welcome to sunny Sonoma in California. We're in the wine region of Northern California, a little under an hour north of San Francisco, in one of the most historic road racing courses in North America. Sonoma Raceway, formerly known as Sears Point. It's a tight, twisting, undulating and very quick challenge for the World Touring Car drivers as we head towards the conclusion of the season. Race here in North America, followed by 3 in Asia, and the championships are close to being decided. Honda may be only in their first year of World Touring Car racing, but the 3 Civics have brought them within one weekend of the Constructors' Championship. There is Andrea Adamo, the designer of the car, Gabriele Tarquini, the former World Touring Car champion, who has been the leader of this development program. They started in World Touring Car racing in Japan last year, and when they go there again in a few weeks' time, it will very likely be as World Touring Car manufacturers champions. A remarkable season for them, and one that looks likely to be crowned with a jubilant homecoming in Suzuka. Sonoma Raceway, Northern California, the start of the World Touring Car race weekend here in America, and it is a 2-part qualifying period that will decide the positions on the grid for all of the competitors in this World Touring Car Championship. From the first to the last, their positions on the grid will be sealed in the next half hour. The first 20-minute period for all cars will seal positions 13 on down in the grid. Those will remain for both races. The fastest 12 cars will go through into a second 10-minute period of qualifying, and that will sort out the top 12 places for the race 1 grid, and then position 10 to 1 on that grid will be reversed for race 2. Looking here at Ivan Muller, who may well head away from San Francisco back home to France on Monday as the 2013 World Touring Car champion. It's by no means done and dusted, but unless a major disaster befalls him, the chances are the Frenchman will claim his 4th World Touring Car championship. And Honda, in their first year in the series, will probably head to Japan with the World Constructors' Championship under their belts. Well, between now and then, we expect a lot of racing here. And let's take a look around this Sonoma track with Tom Coronel.
Okay, we're live at the qualification, where it's always difficult to find a clean lap. The circuit is dusty. I'm lucky because I saved some tires, so I think we will be fine. It's really, really hot out here. It's 39 degrees at the moment. So I suppose that it's only good for 1 lap, the tires. But the car feels good, the car feels strong. See, it's a little bit a mess. Everybody is fighting for his position. It's always the same. Okay.
As you see, Tom Coronel in a queue of cars at the start of this first lap of qualifying. It's not about how many laps you run, it's about how many minutes there are in the session. And Tom went off at the beginning of first free practice this morning. There was a problem with the anti-lag system. The mapping in the car wasn't correct when he got onto the brakes down into the final corner, turn 11 here, down around Gilligan's Island. He was on the brakes, but the throttle was still open, even though his foot wasn't on the pedal. So just occasionally, the intelligence of the machinery isn't quite up to the intelligence of the man. But he is back in a fighting fit Roar Motorsport BMW. Behind him, in a unfamiliar colour scheme. Normally it's red, white and green of Italy. Here, the star-spangled banner of the USA on the car of Stefano D'Aste. There he is. And he's got the stars and stripes on his race suit as well. Last year, he brought out a race suit for the race. Uncle Sam in the top hat and tails. This year, he's got a brand new one for qualifying the race. Full Captain America outfit, shield and all. Looking here at Gabriele Tarquini, one of the 3 Honda Civics, 2 Castrol Hondas, and the Zengo Motorsport team Honda of Norbert Mikulicz, who it would seem are right on the brink of bringing Honda a first World Touring Car title as manufacturers' champions for 2013, which is a remarkable achievement, bearing in mind the first time that a Honda started a World Touring Car race was in Japan last year. They've not even got back to Japan yet. When they do, it will be a jubilant homecoming. Suzuka, of course, the home of Honda and Hondaland, and a fine place for Tarquini Montero and, yes, Mikulits, as well as the Yas Motorsport team and the Mugen engineers to go and celebrate a very successful debut year. And they then will be the defending manufacturers' champions when Citroën arrive next year. With Sebastian Loeb, the 9-time World Rally champion, it's now been confirmed also with Ivan Muller in the team. And it would seem that will take the number 1 of the driver, Ivan Muller, to the Citroën team. And he will then have 4 World Championships to the, well, and his 10 ice racing championships to the 9 World Rally Championships of Sebastian Loeb. And rumour has it that Jose Maria Lopez, one of the stars of the Argentine races last time out, is testing today for Citroën. So we may well see him in a car next year. He certainly proved in Temas de las Ondas that he's got plenty of talent, as we saw in his young single-seater career in Europe. And South America, Brazil and Argentina, particularly very important markets for Citroën as well. On board with Ivan Muller, currently the fastest man, 1:46.2, as Alex McDowell recovers from a little dusty excursion. Not so much a grassy off here. It's been a long, dry summer, not too much in the way of greenery around. On board with Tom Coronel, carrying a lot of speed into turn 1. McDowell, the rear end, getting away from him. And backs it up to the barriers on the rise up to turn 2. Very steep uphill. It's a double left, the first initial left-hander, and you have to get right hard over to the left to set yourself up to pop over the brow into turn 2. There's not much runoff on the outside. That's Pepe Oriola drifting a little bit away from the line as they come down these speedy sweeps. This is on the run down back towards the final part of the lap, turn 9, the chicane, and Ivan goes straight through. Now, a fresh set of tyres, unlikely to be on anything other than the front wheels of these cars. Most of the cars are having trouble with understeer. It's a low grip surface. And a new set of tyres will last just 1 hard lap. And if Ivan had fresh tyres on there, as I suspect he has, because he's come straight into the pits, then they won't be good for very much. They'll have nice big flat spots on them. So Ivan is fastest at the moment from Norbert Mikulits. Tom Chilton third, the second RML Chevrolet. Fourth, Rob Huff, the world champion in his Seat. And in 5th position on the timesheets is James Nash. Tom Coronel in 6th. He's the best of the BMWs. Here's a man who's had a couple of wins already this season, Michel Nukia. You can see him on the timing tower in 9th position. Engstler from 1900ths away to nearly 1/10 of a second away. See what Michel Nukia's got. Qualifying lap record 1:45.2. We're a second away from that at the moment. Last year set in air temperatures 28 degrees. Air temperatures currently here in Sonoma around 36 degrees. It's a very major difference. The track surface, of course, will be up towards or perhaps even above 50 degrees Celsius now. And the hotter it gets, the more these front-wheel drive cars are going to slither around. Look at 1.1 away on the first split. Daryl Young, a personal improvement. He's in 12th place at the moment. He moves into the fast 12 that will go through at the end of Q1. Just outside Mark Basseng in his Seat. Stefano D'Aste. Exler Oriola. Oriola, who was fastest in second free practice. Not yet showing any of that pace. Has not completed a quick lap at all. His best lap 1:47.9. As Nukia bins that lap and brings it into the pits. So Daryl Young, like Charles Eng, effectively a home race, although both are Chinese drivers. Both went to school, to college in San Francisco, and both learned their driving skills and finessed their driving skills here at Sears Point, or Infineon Raceway as it was then, in Sonoma. So of the entire World Touring Car Championship field last year, they were the only two with any real knowledge of this track. Daryl's just come back from setting up a karting academy. And despite that knowledge, finding traction a little difficult. And the problem here is once you do go off, you pick up an awful lot of dirt and grit on those sticky tyres. And for those of you who've not felt a hot slip when it comes off a car, it is hot enough if you hold your hand on it really to feel much, much too warm. It's got the kind of consistency of chewing gum, so they get covered in dust and dry grass very quickly indeed. Ivan Muller in the pits, fastest man at the moment. Norbert Mikulits, Zengo Motorsport Honda, currently lying second to this man, Ivan Muller. And Muller may well just decide to sit on his time. At the moment, 12th position is 1.1 seconds behind him, but he is 3/10 quicker than anybody else. No tyres on the car, but of course that can be rectified in a few seconds. Tyres being their tyre warmers, there you see them. The blankets, electrical blankets, keep them as close to operating temperature as possible, somewhere around 85 to 90 degrees Celsius. And that heats the whole core of the tyre, which means that when it goes onto the car, hopefully retains some of that heat. Royal Motorsports' Daryl O'Young, teammate Tom Coronel there, and they're operating the blower, former World Touring Car Champion Roberto Ravaglia. Won in a BMW in 1987, in what was then the only ever World Touring Car Championship year, until the championship was revived, getting on for a decade ago now, from the success of the European Touring Car Championship. Muller, Mikulits, Chilton and Huff, Chevy, Honda, Chevy and Seat. And of the Castrol Hondas, well, at the moment Thiago Monteiro is in the top 12, he's 11th. Gabriele Tarquini is 18th. So as Tom Boardman comes out, Monteiro showing just how twitchy the cars are, climbing up the hill through 1 into turn 2, dropping down through 3. And again, the elevation change here very much understated by the camera. You really almost bottom the car out down into 3, and then pop out over the top into turn 3A, then turn 4, dropping down again. Big descent through corner 5, this fast sweeping left. At the end is corner 6. Over 200 degrees, and it corkscrews down away from you. Andrea Adamo will not want to be watching himself. Exactly, thank you very much. Like the rest of us, he wants to see what Thiago Monteiro's body language looks like as he flies down the hill. And there is Fernando Monche, a little off in free practice in the test session yesterday. No major damage on the car. Whoa. Carrying a lot of speed in and then changing his mind a little. Monche didn't race here last year, so this is all still new stuff to him. You can hear the popping and banging of the anti-lag system on Gabriele Tarquini's car. Now without those chicanes in a prototype, getting down past the drag racing timing tower there at getting on for 190 miles an hour before braking around this final corner. Gilligan's Island on the inside. Don't see too many people standing there watching now. It used to be my favourite viewing position for American Le Mans races. And then flying across the line, and again this long blind approach into corner 1. Up to the top of the hill. Tarquini has gone 4th. Thiago Monteiro still trying to find a little bit more speed from his car. 3rd position at the moment. 2nd position rather, in front of Norbert Mikulits. So he picked up speed, and so did Tarquini. You can see that in qualifying trim, of course, the cars, as you would see in Formula 1 or any other kind of qualifying, running on very low fuel, just enough to get you through the 30 minutes. because most will assume that they've got a chance of getting into the top 12 for the final part of qualifying. What else do we need to tell you? Muller, Montero, Mikulits and Tarquini. Chilton in 5th as Hugo Valente in the 2nd of the Spanish-run Seats drifts out wide onto the dirt. Here's Pepe Oriola. Now, be a real surprise if he doesn't produce a lap. He's only 18th. Personal best 1st sector, personal best 2nd sector at the moment. This is a quicker lap as Stefano D'Aste returns from the dirt as well. Oriola should put this Chevrolet firmly up into the top half dozen. He was fastest in free practice 1 this morning, a 45.9. It was quite a lot cooler then. Air temperature, I think was around 26, 24 degrees, in fact. Mehdi Benani led race 2 here last year. Dropped the car off the road, under pressure at the chicane. And a potential first ever World Touring Car win went begging. But you sense from his performance this year, everything really seems to have clicked. He looks a lot more confident and composed in the car. If that opportunity came again, he said, didn't he, when he finished in 2nd place a few races ago, for me this is almost like a world championship. If he was to win a race, then I think his smile would split his face from ear to ear. At the moment, cars out on track. Speaking of Nick Clipson from Bamboo Engineering, just saying, why is it that everybody does go out in this massive rush at the beginning as Tom Coronel runs into the back of Charles Eng, the final corner. So if you don't go out the moment that the session begins, in 20 minutes, you will not have time for a 3rd run, which you might need to get yourself out of trouble if the driver makes a mistake on tyre set 1 and tyre set 2. Coronel goes wide and then deep, gets out of the way. He knows he's kiboshed his lap and wants to get out of the way of Stefano D'Aste. Looking here at Franz Hensler, only 18th at the moment. D'Aste 17th, Freddie Bart's BMW 16th, Darrell Young's BMW 15th, Mehdi Benani's BMW 14th. 13th and just out of the top 12 at the moment by 1/1000th of a second is Michel Nukia in the black and white Nika Racing Chevrolet. And Nukia really should be in the top dozen. So we're getting ready for the final hurrah. 4 minutes remaining. It's going to take them the better part of 2 minutes to get round to start a lap, so there is still plenty of time. Rob Huff at the moment 7th quickest. Don't forget, this is Q1, the first of 2 parts of qualifying, so here it's not necessary to be fastest. You just have to make it into the 12. Of course, one way of guaranteeing to make it into the 12 is to be in the top 2 or 3 on times. There's Freddie Bart. All the BMWs expecting to go well in the race, but not necessarily to find the ultimate edge in qualifying that some of the front-wheel drive rivals like Chevrolet and Honda will have. And for BMW, frankly, the hotter the weather, the more trouble the front-wheel drive cars are going to have with tyres in race trim, and the better the BMW drivers should like it. Hot lap for Darrell Young, and behind him also for the Swiss driver Freddie Bart. So Young goes 12th, Freddie Bart is in 11th place. So Hugo Valente just outside. Mark Bassing is in the pit lane. And Muller on a pole position lap at the moment, or a fastest lap of the session anyway. Personal best in sector 1, fastest of everybody in sector 2. So improving on everybody's best 2nd sector. We saw teammate Tom Chilton go across the line. Chilton in 6th. So we've got to look now down to the bottom of the 12 as there's been a couple of shuffles around. Nukia rather goes into 8th as Chilton changes his mind in turn 1. And the way these cars are unsettled, it may as well be an early swing axle 911. Changing your mind there because it's not going to forgive. Whoa! Busy hands. Right in front of Ivan Muller. And of course, spreading a little bit of dust from the inside of the circuit onto the outside, then taking a bit back on with him. Still green flag conditions. Chilton and teammate Muller, first and third. Montero is second. What about Huff? Currently ninth. This is a better lap from him. Green, green, and... Okay, dropped a lot in the final sector. That tells you how much the tyres have gone off in that last portion of the track. But he is in there. James Thompson on a better lap. He's in 24th place at the moment. Mikhail Kozlowski is the best of the Lada duo. In 20th on board with Thompson. Traffic in front. The BMWs are on in laps. Thompson is flying down towards the end of the lap as quickly as he can possibly make it. 0.25 away to 0.7 away. If he can get across the line inside 1.1, he will be in the 12. Muller's got the fastest lap of 45.9. Is Tomo in the 12? And he's 1.6 away. That is a long way shy of where he wants to be. Daolo Young is 13th at the moment and out of the fast 12. And I think we've seen the best from him. Freddie Bart is in. So the BMWs that have gone through into the fast 12 are Coronel 11th and Bart 12th. As Thompson, his body language does not suggest to me that he's on a quiet lap in. There's Marco Calovolo, his engineer, chatting away on the radio, but I'm not sure he's necessarily talking to James. Again, as he corkscrew down through corner 6, see him trying to keep the line tight. Hear the suspension chirruping away under the arches. Drifting out wide, just breezing onto the curbs. This little wide left-hand swing as you get up to where the NASCAR course rejoins the rest. They cut across from 4 to 7. Muller's in the pits. Let's watch Thompson. He's still on a quick lap. Checkered flag is out. So final shot for James Thompson. And he needs to somehow improve by half a second. First sector was not good for him. Fastest first sector of anyone from Mark Bassang. Is Bassang on a potential lap to get himself into the top 12? He's 15th at the moment. Thompson's coming into the pits, overshoots the chicane. Where's Bassang? He's coming up behind him. Bassang is on a very quick lap, coming down to the chicane. You can't see him on the screen, but I'm looking through the window. Gets it through neatly and tidily, and he's got either Monche or... not sure. Oh, there's Bassang, in fact. So I was not watching Bassang. I was watching his teammate. I think I was watching Rennie Munich. Mark Bassang is on a very quick lap indeed. And this man is the reigning FIA GT1 world champion, and not because he lucked into it either. He can really drive a car. What he's never done is raced a front-wheel drive car before. What he's also not done this year is run into any real good luck. Let's see if he can turn that around here in the USA. This has got to be good enough to put him in. He needs to go just a second away from pole. He was only 2 tenths away, and that has got to be good enough, surely, to put him into the top 12. Good run from him, 6 tenths back in 6th position. Rob Huff, his teammate, is in 8th spot. That was an excellent lap from Mark Bassang at the death. Checkered flag was already out for most of his lap, but he just got it done in time. And I don't think we'll see... Oh, we have! Coronel has been pushed out by... who just came across the line, Mehdi Benani. Benani is in 9th place, and Coronel is 13th for both races. Bart 14th for both races. Daolo Young 15th for both races. And Mehdi Benani, who could have, perhaps should have won here last year, has pushed himself into the top 12. Well, Tom, when he came into the pits, was in, but on the bubble, and the body language tells you that he has been told he is now out of Q2. 2 blistering final moments laps from Mark Bassang and from Mehdi Benani have put them in at the expense of Tom Coronel and Freddie Bart. Body language says it all. Coronel disappointed to be bumped out of the top 12. Norbert Mikulits getting ready to go out and qualify at Sonoma Raceway, Northern California. We're in the wine country, Sonoma Valley. We are ready for the cars, the fastest 12 to head out on track. Tom Coronel is not among them. Ben Constanduros is down with him in the pit lane.
We are in the Royal Motorsport pit where both cars are out, and Tom, you were ready to go out to do your final lap. You pulled out the pits, and then the team told you to stop, or did you stop?
No, the team told me to stop. There was no time anymore to go out. My first run was all right. My second run I was a lot faster, but then Charles Heng in the last corner blocked me. I was up 3-4 tenths, so I could have been easily in. No, this is a big disaster.
Is this another case of mismanagement from the team? You've had a few times where you've missed out, a few times where you've crashed into your teammate. It seems to be a thing this year.
You know, everything is very edgy. Everybody's trying to do their best. Somehow we just didn't match. It's not what I had expected, because we know with BMW here you can be quite strong, especially for the race. So I even saved tires. I still have 2 new sets of tires. This is something we did not expect. It was P9, then my team said P10, and then P11, and then the last run, I believe Baseng was faster. No, it's really bad.
But with 2 sets of tyres, Tom, you should be strong in the race, and it happened last year. So let's watch out for Tom Coronel come the race.
Well, one thing about Tom Coronel is that you can't keep the smile off his face for very long. Very disappointed at the moment, and as he said, a last gasp lap from Mark Baseng and from Mehdi Banani, in fact, enough to bump him out. So he will start 13th in both races. So now I've got the fastest 12 cars from Q1 on track in this second and final 10-minute qualifying period. And the 2 Castrol Hondas. Thiago Monteiro leading around Gabriele Tarquini. This is not Monza, it's not Imola. It's not the sort of track necessarily where you're going to have a slipstreaming tow. But it's a quick track, and that might help. James Thompson with his engineer on the left, Marco Calovolo, talking to the Lada guys and trying to work out how to find a setup that will improve the car for the race. The Lada Granta Sport, one of the smallest cars in the field, very narrow track as well. Next year's regulations are going to involve the cars having more power, up to around 380 brake horsepower. Should make them a second and a half a kilometre quicker than the current cars, which will make the Macau lap maybe as much as 9 seconds quicker than it is currently, which is going to be very rapid indeed, and a bit of a wild, wide line there for Gabriele Tarquini. And Andrea Adamo liked what he saw even less than I did. Probably understands what he saw an awful lot more. And this, of course, is the balance of qualifying, desperately pushing to carry as much speed as you can at every point on the course. Never been quite sure when too much is being carried. Normally the car will let you know. Behind comes Ivan Muller, one of the fastest man in Q1. Tarquini getting out of the way of his longtime teammate and friend as they get up through 7 and 7A and start to head back down. Great vistas here. This is a real old-fashioned style race course. Lots of elevation changes, tricky cambers, difficult balance, no long, constant radius corners. This is a racing track for racing drivers. And the chicane here really only put in to bring down the speed. The old track, when you came straight down the hill here, phenomenal speed approaching the bottom of the track, and even these cars would be maxing out in top gear. It would be as quick as Monza down there, with a hairpin at the end of it. So Thiago Monteiro then going to set the first quick lap, 46.24. Qualifying record 45.23 from last year. 45.70 goes Muller. Monteiro second. Nash was third, but McDowell beats him, and now Chilton goes second quickest. Everybody's first laps coming in on board nicely. Tom taking a more traditional approach wide at the bottom of the hill, climbing up tight. I think that's likely to be the start of an in lap. Tarquini hasn't set the time yet, or Nukia. But everybody else, Banani hasn't set a time yet, everybody else has. Chilton incidentally got the final last sector quicker even than Ivan Muller did on his lap, which is why he went second fast. Gabriele Tarquini currently back in the pits after an out lap and an in lap. Well, we saw the beginning of what was expected to be his high-speed lap. Little tail happy moment up through turn 1. Not quite sure what a driver would regard as more frustrating, to screw a good qualifying lap on the first corner or on the last corner. I'd sort of think that getting all the way through and then messing it up at the final corner would be even more infuriating, but not getting it even started probably doesn't help much either. Chilton cruising in, and everybody has had their first hurrah on tyres. Tarquini, you already heard the air guns putting new tyres on his car. Huff coming down into the chicane. Michel Nukia heads out now. Everybody's coming back in. So Nukia and the Nika Racing team, the little single-car Swedish operation that runs him, leaving it till everybody's come back in before he goes out. Now, of course, there is a slight gamble there that there might be a red flag that really hampers you. But generally, if you wait till everybody's back in the pits, red flags tend to be fewer and further between if they're all having their tyres changed than if they're all out on the track. So this could work very well for Michel Nukia. Montero's back in. Tarquini is waiting to go. Now, if they are actually working a slipstreaming buddy-buddy partnership, Montero led off last lap, and that would mean that Tarquini should lead this time. Not sure that that is the case, but if it were, then Tarquini might have to be doing some towing. Muller-Chilton, Montero, and then McDowell, Nash and Mikulits. Oriola's Chevrolet only 8th, really not getting the best out of it in qualifying in the way that he did in free practice. Freddie Bart will start 14th, Dowler Young 15th. They are outside of the fast 12. Not one BMW made it into Q2. And now Gabriele gets waved away, but waits a moment. No, Thiago comes out behind him. And then the Bamboo Boys break cover as well. James Nash, Alex McDowell. Nash with the Dayglow yellow windscreen strip. McDowell with the Dayglow red one. Expect to see Norby coming out as well. Norbert Mikulits in that orange and black car. Now Michel Nukia on his own on an empty track. Gets to the line. This is his first flying lap. And he puts himself in 11th. So that's not his first flying lap. That's the end of his out lap at 2:59. You're right. In case he's done an out and an in lap as well. So he's had a bit of an interrupted qualifying period. See the car really get up on its tippy toes as he took a little too much curb inside corner 1. Drops down the hill out of 4. Shaving by those tyre stacks inside 5. That's to prevent anybody cutting the corner, though how that would even remotely help you, I struggle to fathom, because you'd have dirt on your outside tyres here in corner 6, which is the very last thing you could possibly want. So Nukia on a flyer then. 4 tenths away at the moment. So this is probably not going to do much better than a top half dozen. He's got cars on out laps in front of him, so I'm not sure that the Nika Racing team timed this quite as well as they might have wanted to. Sweeping down the hill. 4 of these 6 switchbacks are not numbered when you get to turn 8 and 8A. Long run down into turn 9. And again, going to be balked, is he, by Thiago? Goes around the outside. Only he will know how much he's being held up. Half a second off at the moment. If he can get in to the line within 7 or 8 tenths, that'll put him in the top half dozen. Team waiting to see him come there, watching the pictures as well. There's Nash starting a lap. Where's Nukia? Another Honda in front of him. And he comes across the line as Tarquini starts lap 0.96 back. Oh, and again Tarquini with a big tail happy moment, and he's going to be all offline and out of sorts. Can't pick up the throttle into turn 2 the way he wants to. I'm not sure that Gabriele really wanted the tail to be waving around quite that much up the hill apart from anything else, if the tail's not following the nose, it's actually slowing you down. Sideways is not forwards, obviously. See? Didn't study physics for a whole 12 months for nothing, you know. Down into corner 6. This corner just goes on and on. It's still there, still there, still there. This is Tarquini's shot. At the moment, he is 12th. He will be 12th in both races if he does not improve. Flag is out. At the moment, we've got Muller and Chilton, Montero and McDowell, Nash and Mikulits. Montero's on a better lap. Tarquini's on a better lap. Oriola is on a better lap. Finally, so is Mikulits. Could see wholesale changes. William de Brecquelaire, the head of Honda Motorsport, the man who's been responsible for pushing the envelope with the brain plan for this across the desks at Honda at exactly the right time. Eventually, after years of trying to get this program green-lighted, then he's going to be fated when he gets back to Japan with the team as well for the next installment of the World Touring Car Championship. But for now, again, Tarquini carries a lot of speed in, locks up, sort of in the same postcode as the Apex. Probably not that vital in the last corner. Chilton's on a pole lap, though, at the moment. So Tarquini is going to come across the line and leap from 12th all the way to 10th. Montero in 3rd, but it's Tom Chilton we need to be watching now. Purple sector in Sector 1 and a personal best in Sector 2. This could put him on pole if he can hold it together at the end of the lap. Does he take pole from his teammate? He does not. Yes, he does. Timing screen finally catches up. He does take pole position from Ivan Muller. And that is a great qualifying effort. And Pepe Oriola behind finally strung a lap together in qualifying as the flag was out. And he gets 4th place. So we got Chevy, Montero's Honda, and then Chevy, McDowell in a Chevy, Nash in a Chevy, Mikulits in a Honda, Huff in his Seat, Tarquini only 10th. A lot of rear steer going on in Tarquini's car, and not necessarily to his liking, I wouldn't suggest. Well, interesting times at RML. Ivan Muller could well top his 4th World Drivers' Championship title this weekend. Tom Chilton's dad, Graham, is here. Instead of being at Monza supporting his other son, Max, in the Formula 1, he's come out here to try and see what's happening with next year's plans. And lo and behold, son Tom goes and puts the car on pole position. 5 championship points for the first ever World Touring Car Championship pole for Tom Chilton. 4 for Ivan Muller, moves him even closer to the World Touring Car Championship, and he is there to congratulate his teammate who has out-qualified him for the first time in their association at RML. Great lap from Tom Chilton, and Ben Constantinos will be down there to catch up with him in just a second. Michel Nukia, who ended up where in 9th place, scores no points out of qualifying. Top 5 get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 points. So Ivan extending 4-point advantage again over the closest of his rivals. Stuart Cowie, the team manager, down there. And Ben Constantinos is in the pit lane. Let's hear from our pole man. A big, big qualifying session from Tom Chilton.
A fantastic first podium for Tom Chilton in the World Touring Car Championship. Just talking to his race engineer, Tom, what a fantastic performance from you. So close so many times, and you've done it by half a second here.
That's a nice chunk. I mean, everyone who was just watching qualifying there saw that I started off P7 on my first run and P5 on my second run. Then was I P3 or P2 on my next run, and then the last run I managed to get pole, but I had to work for that. That wasn't easy. All weekend I felt like I've had the legs over a van, which doesn't ever happen. You know, he's just about to be 4 times world champion, and his first round I felt I've had something. But still, to get it right in qualifying, every single corner is almost impossible, because even on a couple of my runs before I thought I had it right, I caught a bit of dust on a couple of apexes where people have been clipping it, and it washed me out wide and I lost a lot of time. So I just managed to get everything right and keep on the black stuff, and oh, my heart's pounding. It's awesome.
Fantastic, Emma. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, congratulations indeed to Tom Chilton, to RML, a 1-2 for them. Tom Chilton, not easy, he said. It's never easy to take pole position away from guys like Ivan Muller or Gabriele Tarquini, and he's taken it away, as he said, from the man who will probably leave here as a 4-time world champion. So to go against the head and take pole from such an experienced teammate, who of course has had more years of experience in the car as well, a great effort from him. Muller will start second on the grid, and the top 10 will be concluded by Gabriele Tarquini. Race 2 pole for Tarquini with Nukia alongside him. Huff will start third from Mikulits on the race 2 grid. So could be very entertaining indeed. And it seems very likely that both drivers' and manufacturers' titles will be sewn up on Sunday in Sonoma.